Okay, collective, good morning and welcome. This is going to be a reading about Blueface. It's a sacred birth card reading about him to give in some insights into him. And again, this reading is for entertainment purposes only, and it's alleged. Everything in here is alleged. It's just it's for entertainment purposes only, okay? So Blueface's birth card is a Seven of Diamonds. This is Jonathan Porter. He was born January 22nd, 1997. And this is the Seven of Diamonds is his birth card. And this card actually gives some insight into him and his motivations and the energies that are at play. So again, our birth card can give us information about the things that we have access to, and whether we choose to ignore that or we don't tap into that, it's still there. So that's what he was born with. And the Seven of Diamonds card is known as the Millionaire's card. Okay, it's one of those unique cards that's semi-fixed. So it's a part of a spiritual family of 7 uniquely different cards, where the people who have this card as a birth card fall into a different category and have a special mark on their lives. So Blueface has a special mark or calling on his life. Seven of Diamonds can be very stubborn. That's where the fixedness comes in, okay? And he is an Aquarius. He's right there as an Aquarius, so he is a fixed sign, okay? One of the fixed signs of the zodiac. But his destiny is to be, he was destined to become a multimillionaire, okay? And he has achieved success in regards to that, but there's a lot that's come along with it. Okay, he's paid a lot along the way to do that. Okay, this is the spiritual money card though. So in order for him to sustain any real long-lasting money, it has to be through spiritual means, meaning he has to tap into the higher side of himself and do any shadow work or any healing work that is necessary so that he can attain it on the spiritual side. His money, his long-term multimillionaire money comes from spiritual accessing the higher spiritual side of his nature. Okay, and so he's always connected to money. Okay, he's always connected to money. Now, because 7 is a spiritual number, he has to maintain a non-attached attitude about the money, or there will be continuous problems in this area. And from what I've observed and from what you all have told me, it's like he knows this is who he is, that he's supposed to, that he is a multimillionaire. He's supposed to have this money. He's about that money, and it's supposed to come to him. It's supposed to be with him. He knows this, okay? From just looking at his demeanor, from what we see, okay? And that's the thing. With a spiritual card like the Seven of Diamonds, you have to be nonchalant. You have to know that you have it. Even if you don't have it, you have to see it coming, know that it's there, feel it, do what you need to do to stay in the vibration of that, okay? But if you become worried and fearful, and you tap into that realm of the Seven of Diamonds, then that's what you will get, okay? If you're worried and pessimistic, you'll have more things to worry about, okay? The other avenue for the Seven of Diamonds is close relationships. Families, lovers, and friends are all very important to the Seven of Diamonds person. And we see that with Blueface, with his children that he has with Jade and Alexis, and how much they mean to him, and with his family, the closeness that we've seen, okay, on TV or live streams or videos, postings, things like that. Now, Blueface has the energy, or has access to an energy where he has a high spiritual love of nature that often includes making personal sacrifices, a spiritual love that often includes making personal sacrifices for family and other close relationships. And I believe there probably have been cases where he's done that he may be in the process of doing that now, to kind of almost like fall on his sword for the greater good or the higher good of his loved ones, like taking an L just so that on the back end of it, that his family can come up, or that he can come up or make this a win. Like it's a short-term L for a big time win. Okay. Again, there's nothing that a Seven of Diamonds person wouldn't do on behalf of their parents or their family. Okay. So that's what we have here as well. And again, this is one of the most spiritual cards in the deck. And as such, the success comes from approaching life in ways other than traditional or materialistic. And that's true for an Aquarius. They think outside the box. They're ruled by Uranus and as well as Saturn. They think outside the box. They look at things from a way that most people don't. And again, the success among them are the ones that live in faith, that all their needs will always be provided. And Blue, typically, from what I've seen, he has that swagger, that swag that's like, I got this. I know this is mine. I know this is who I'm supposed to be. I know I'm supposed to have this. And all these things come to me. They belong to me, da, 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 da. So that's what I see, okay? Seven of Diamonds are usually restless, making frequent changes in their occupation or location. Their love life usually entails sacrifice and disappointment until they learn to let others go and be as they are. And you all can tell me in the comments what you think about that. So from what I'm seeing, it's just from what the card says, the spiritual lessons for love, and he's in the middle of his Saturn return. Okay, he's in the middle of his Saturn return or getting ready to start his Saturn return, which is, the test when you're 29 years old or 57 or 58 years old. That's the second Saturn return. Are you learning the lessons that you came in to learn in this life? Okay, so I think a lot of it is that he needs to look at people for who they really are and not for what he wants them to be and go beyond the surface. Okay, yes, there's certain things that we find attractive about people, but we need to look at them in totality and really see who they are. And once people show us who they are, we need to take that and think that and treat them accordingly, whether it's for what they are as a season, a person in our season, they're there with us for a season, or if they're here with us for the long term, and let it be, and not try to make something out of nothing. And that's a lesson that most Seven of Diamonds has. And you all can tell me if that's what you see for him. And he's young. He's in his late 20s. He's young. And he's a guy. So this will probably kick in for him to really learn in the next couple of years, and probably as he gets into his late 30s, really settle into looking at the women that he chooses for the long term in his life, that they are not only surface, but on the spiritual side for him, because in order for him to have success in life, he has to look at who he's aligned with, because they can either bring him up or bring him down. And that's pretty much true for most of us. And again, the Seven of Diamonds love life usually entails sacrifice and disappointment until they learn to let others go. And once on the spiritual path, everything in their life is put into proper perspective, and then they can excel in anything that they want out of life. So I kind of alluded to this a little earlier. So his success, his long-term success, is being on the right path and he has to decide what that is for him on a spiritual level. Okay, where he has to come correct in order for things to come correct for him and to last for him long term, which is if he's not on the right path, the money comes in, but it goes out more. The money that comes in, like, let's say $1 million comes in. Well, $3 million will go out, meaning he'll be minus $2 million that he owes because it didn't come through the right way or the right people or the right circumstances. So he's going to have to do the work and decide. If he hasn't done the work, do the work and decide how he's going to access that. Okay, where the money, there's stability with the money, there's happiness with the money, there's peace with this money. Okay, because if it's not through the highest side, because the spiritual vibration that's attached to this card and it's attached to him, to his energy, it will always come with disappointment. It will always come with sacrifices. It will always come with losses. Okay, it'll always come with L's. Okay, you take one step forward and take 10 steps backwards until he learns that lesson, until he processes that and applies it. And that's also, but once he gets into the right spiritual aspect, the highest spiritual aspect of himself, then he'll get into a firm groove where everything just comes to him the right way. Now, some of the Seven of Diamonds issues concerning relationships. For such a spiritual card as the Seven of Diamonds, issues and relationships revolve around letting go of personal attachments and developing a more spiritual approach to love. Now, Seven of Diamonds are very loving people. They're willing to make sacrifices, which I told you earlier. Now, they tend to have one or more karmic love involvements that challenge them to raise their level of love to more spiritual or responsible heights. Okay? Like some of the other cards in the 52 card deck, they have high ideals associated with love and partnership. Now, the Seven of Diamonds people, okay, are less destined to have these ideals tested every step of the way. They're destined to have these ideals tested every step along the way. Their stubbornness and independence attract powerful relationships into their life, ones that teach them important lessons. Okay, so that's what we're dealing with right now. That's what Blue is dealing with right now. Looking at, like I said, because he's coming into a Saturn return. So the relationships, hopefully he's ending some cycles, karmic cycles with people, whether it's business, love life, and letting them go. If they're causing him to have L's, to let them go and to cut the ties and move forward, to develop more positive connections, to do the work, because something inside of him attracted these individuals to him, okay? So if it's shady business dealings, love life entanglements that are causing him to have embarrassment, hardships, he's got to do the work and heal so that he can attract and maintain positivity and learn the lessons and stop trying to I keep hearing he keeps trying to make something out of nothing. Okay, with a partnership, an affiliation, an association, instead of learning, taking a deep look at himself and taking a deep look at the situations in the past, like the last 4 or 5 years, and look at what it is. Okay, and look at if those situations have brought, and if those partnerships have brought him long-term happiness, long-term peace, or if it's just for clout. Because he can, if he goes through it on the spiritual side of his higher nature, he can still get the clout, he can still get everything that he wants, but it'll be stabilized. So as long as he continues to engage with and entertain people who are low vibrational and causing him to act from low vibrational shadow side, unhealed inner child stuff, it's always going to be ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs, and it's no firm foundation. So that's where we will pause, and we will come back and do a little bit more about Blueface, and also look at some of the dynamics of the cards with his relationships, some of his partnerships. Okay. So again, collective, thank you for tuning in, and hope that you all have a wonderful day. Okay. Peace.